Realities explores the paranormal, preternatural, and supernatural worlds that surround us. Here we delve into those topics that challenge us to think outside the limitations of realism, where we test the boundaries of imagination and are forced to think outside the confines and restrictions of what is normal. We are the creators, the writers, the artists, and the insane. Welcome to our weird realities.
Happy Sunday, everybody. This is Hadley, and I am here with Shari Crook Turner and Nettie Wade, and we're going to be talking about some hypnosis. So, super excited for everyone to be here, and we're going to get down to it. So, Shari, would you like to introduce yourself, or would you like me to?
Well, I'm Shari Crook Turnage, resolution hypnotherapy, and certified master trainer, and happy to be here and hanging out with you tonight.
And Nettie, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Ned or Nettie Wade. I'm one of Sherry's students, a new hypnotherapist, and excited to be here as well, hanging out with you cool, weird kids.
Awesome. Well, ladies, it looks like Ben isn't going to make it tonight. He'll be back next week, so it'll just be the girls, and it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. So,
Absolutely.
I do too.
I know that Shari wasn't able to catch up with us last week, and we were talking about an explanation of hypnosis, and tonight's topic is, are you hypnotized? So with those topics in mind, Shari, is there anything from last week that you think we need to go over, or you just want to jump in for tonight's topic?
Well, really, hypnosis is a super intense, focused attention. And people have a wrong idea. It is an altered state. And, there's many different ways to get to an altered state through meditation. People do it through, chemical inducement like ayahuasca and many other ways to do that. But LSD back in the day. But the altered state just gives you access to the subconscious. And the subconscious is what's able to make change and help you see from a whole different, completely open perspective. Anyway, so it's not like what people think it is. I can't make you do anything that you don't really want to do. So I don't know if they explained that as much. I was thinking, we just need a little bit better. It's almost like when people ask me what's Reiki, it took me forever to come up with what is hypnosis. And I used to just say extreme relaxation and focused attention. And my teacher said, quit saying total relaxation because you can be hypnotized when you're not relaxed, which is part of tonight's discussion. But so then I thought, oh no, so I just now get to say it's just focused attention. So I had to come up with an actual better explanation. So I hope that cleared that up. And I don't think there was anything else. Antwynette and Ben did a great job. I was so proud of them. I felt so bad for not being present, and I thought, oh my gosh, thrown them to the wolves, and they did great. Which I knew, they were great students, and they're both so different but so talented, and I'm just so excited for what they're going to do with hypnosis. There's lots of options and directions you can take it, and they'll be different, but nearby similar to each other. We're all a little bit the same, but anyway, I was excited. Y'all did a great show last week.
I was going to say, I'm not the big bad wolf, so you can throw them to the wolves completely.
No,
We were in good hands.
Yeah, that's true. You did a great job asking good questions and a few stumpers for them, but it made them, they had to remember all that stuff they learned. There's 110 hours classroom time and 110 self-study for what they did.
Well, they did great, and you could tell that they had a really great teacher. So I'm going to go ahead and take a minute and say hi to Landa and Krista. I see that they're in our in the house. So Landa said hi, and Krista too said hi. So, well,
Hi,
I think it's
Krista.
fascinating. One of the things that I found really interesting last week was just thinking about how beneficial it could be in working with trauma victims, whether it's someone who's been through a hurricane and lost everything, tornado, or someone who's been a victim of some type of, abuse. I think that hypnosis could be incredibly beneficial. So I was just curious if y'all had thought, if anyone had thought about that as a way to kind of use their services.
I don't know about Antwynette, and we'll let her speak to that. But as far as me, I can tell you almost every single person that sits in my chair has some sort of trauma. And I don't know if it's people that have had this that are seeking, a way to keep moving on or not. But at the end of the day, we all have a story. And we have a saying in hypnotherapy that what people come to see you for is not what they came to see you for.
Yeah.
And like they may want to quit smoking and they sit down, and then sometimes it may be 45 minutes or an hour, depending on what we're doing, where all this other stuff comes up. And it ends up being something that you can't fix a lifetime of things. And, even like an initial session is going to be at least 2 hours for me, with me. You can't fix it then. So I deal with it with almost every client. It's in some cases, I have one client I can think of that had no trauma, beautiful childhood, loved her mama and her daddy and her siblings, and had a beautiful life. And I just was like, I didn't know what kind of questions to ask her. Like, so anyway, I've had one in over 6 years. How about you, Nettie? What is your experience so far?
Well, I think I just haven't had any like trauma related sessions, but every session is so unique in itself. It's like a new journey. It's you get a different person. They got different habits, different, desires, goals, and just creating it all is really interesting. I love creating a session for somebody that's unique, that's individual to them. And even if somebody else has the same or similar subject matter, it will be a complete different session for every person. So I am interested in one day doing some trauma work, and I have some ideas about some topics I want to explore. And I've already reached out to some volunteers, friends of mine, who would like to do that. So it is an interest of mine. I just haven't grown there yet.
Yeah, well, and it will. Like I guess it goes there with me now because I feel more confident or dealing with it, because really, I ask them, why have you come to me? What is it you want help with specifically? And if that trauma really has nothing to do with why we're here, I'm a firm believer in, you don't necessarily have to go back and like relive every trauma. There are some people that can't ever let it go and relive it for decades and allow it to, trap them and prevent them from living a full and complete life. If that's not part of it, I try to cut it off even earlier, because they were there for a specific reason. We could deal with that later if they want to, but a lot of times they're wanting to quit smoking or lose weight. Actually, everything's interrelated, but just depending on what it is and how many sessions they want to come to. Because again, 50 years, 40, 50 years of stuff you want to, make better.
Well, I think it's interesting because a lot of people when they're young, their children will dissociate, and that's almost like a form of hypnosis. Is they're basically removing themselves from the trauma and protecting themselves somewhere deep inside. So I would think that would kind of work hand in hand with hypnosis in kind of pulling out those types of trauma related incidents.
I have a client that's seeing me or has seen me in the past, and she does have trauma, but she's got stuff going on right now in this, present day and age, not back from childhood, and wanting to, and is doing great, and has blocked out a lot of that stuff. I don't see. I mean, a talk therapist, perhaps, that would be a better suited thing, because that's not, hypnosis is about getting focused on something. Yes, we do work with trauma, and there's all kind of cool healing things we can do, but mainly people come because they want to improve their life, get focused, get on task, get it pointed in the direction of their hopes, dreams, desires. And that's one of the best things that hypnosis does. And a lot of us, especially after COVID and being locked down, people may be dealing with a little bit of depression anyway, or anxiety. It just quadrupled. So I think it's just kickstarting people and getting them back out there. And, all that. I don't think, like with my client, I don't think we have to dig up all of that and go remember it all right now just for her to get back on track. So if that's what she wants to work on, we would do it. But that's not usually why people come for hypnosis.
No, I wouldn't think so. I'm just thinking that it would probably, and this is my mind thinking that there's probably a link there between how easy it would be to be hypnotized and people who dissociate. But I go down a lot of rabbit holes, so y'all just have to bear with me. I will get refocused right now.
I do kind of agree though, Hadley. That's interesting because, like, a lot of times when people have issues with their body image, it's because somebody along some way told them that there was something wrong. So if a person has that image in their mind that they're overweight or they're fat, somebody probably said something, and just somebody saying that one thing changed the way that person viewed themselves, and carries that for years and decades in their life until they want to address it later. So it can just be that easy. But also, it doesn't have to be reliving it, like Shari said. What's the issue and how can we fix that?
Right. How's it affecting life today? We are the sum total of everything that's ever happened to us, good, bad, and indifferent. So that's what we have to work with. We're like a lump of clay. And it's like, I always ask people, what is it you want? What is it you see where you want to be? The first thing they do, almost 99% of the time, is they tell me what they don't want. Well, I don't want to be overweight anymore. And I don't want to be tired all the time. And I don't want to be, it's like, okay, I let them say it. And then I say, okay, now that we know that, now tell me what you want. What does that look like? Because that's part of the hypnosis process, is getting them to, imagine and pretend for a few moments they've already done it. This is what they want. What does it look like? How does it feel when you have made these changes in your life? And that gets it going and gets it started. So, and gets it focused. So you can't focus on something if you don't know exactly what it is you want. So that's how we get it done. And along the way, we may deal with all of that other stuff too, whatever's needed. And Nettie said it a little while ago. It's each session is individual. It's whatever the client wants and needs. And I find it always tends to turn anyway mid-session to exactly what they need. So it's a very cool thing.
So let's get refocused back on hypnosis. And
yeah, why we're here.
Let me see. So when you are working with the clients, what type of sensations or feelings do you witness them experiencing under hypnosis?
What are they feeling?
Well, one of the things that the topic was, are you hypnotized? So I'm trying to figure out, if you didn't know you were hypnotized, how would you know?
Well, when you're hypnotized, and when you're in a session with me, you should be hearing me. And if you're hearing me talk, you're hypnotized when you are focused and you're following along exactly what I'm saying. But even during the process, you can be more or less hypnotized. On an EEG, you're able to see, like us talking right now, we're all in beta, and we're moving right along. When you come in from work and you kick off your shoes, maybe you turn on some music or TV and kind of chill a minute, you fall down into alpha. And that's where light hypnosis, light meditation comes in. If you've ever driven home from work and you turn your car off and jump out and you don't quite remember driving home or stopping at stop signs or red lights, you were hypnotized. So your subconscious, thankfully, knows how to drive you home safely and observe all of the laws that it's practiced over and over doing. So that's what it does. And then, so you can be consciously hypnotized. It's intense focus. And when you're driving, you are somewhere else. You are making the list for the store, or you are planning that meeting that you have to do. Don't forget to do this first. Call that person, da, 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 da. While you're driving, then you get home and you're like, I hope I didn't run red lights. But so it's focused attention. And then during the session itself, there's times when I might be talking to you and you're listening for a while and you're following along, you're focused. And then all of a sudden you're thinking about other things. You may click out, you may be aware of what you're thinking of, or you might even just, it's not sleep. It's just a deeper level. Subconsciously though, you're always listening, so it doesn't matter. But when your attention comes back around to hearing me, what you were hearing for maybe that moment, you were hearing like Charlie Brown's teacher, wah, 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 wah. I'm still, the noise coming out of me is still going, but you're not focused on the words. And you come in and out of that through the whole session. And you don't have to hear consciously every single word, because hypnosis is going to work anyway. We're talking to the subconscious, as long as you don't go to sleep. And even if you go to sleep, if it's a light sleep, you're still hearing me, because again, it's how deep, how slow your brain is moving and how deep the waves are going. So from alpha, you go into theta. Theta's dream sleep. That's, REM sleep. You go into theta in good, deep hypnosis. That's where we're working towards and where we really want you super focused. And then below that is delta. And delta is really slow. But delta is where magic happens. It's where cells can, stem cells can reproduce. It's that's why sleep's so important. You need to dip in and out of delta 3-4 times in a given night for optimum health. And you may dip down into it during a hypnosis session, especially some of the more spiritual ones that I do. And some of them are really long, 3-4 hours. And so you come in and out of conscious awareness during your session. And even if you're always subconsciously aware. So does that explain it well enough? I don't know if
I think so.
Okay.
Um,
So
I
can
see
tell.
where Landa had made the comment when we were talking about driving that she does that almost every time she goes back and forth to work.
See, because our mind, and that's hypnosis. If you ever watched a movie, you're in the theater, and crying and got a lump in your throat. Well, it's a movie. Those are actors, conscious you, but you still have real emotion and you're still really crying and you're really affected. So that's hypnosis. Hypnosis is everywhere. You want me to go ahead and just talk about the subject that I had written down for tonight was it is everywhere. It's in advertising and marketing. It's in the political arena. It's in everything. Words have power.
Yeah, let's dive into it.
Yeah, because like word, a spell, the word spell as a noun is the spoken word or a form of words. It's held to have magic power. It's a state of enchantment, a strong, compelling influence or attraction. Spell as a verb, of course, is, spelling, but a spell as a noun is this magical power. And we do use specific words, real specific words. During the time we're talking to you, we are listening to your language and how you see the world and how you describe things. And then we turn around during the hypnosis session and we use your same language back with you. And when you're telling me like what you want or what you need, I'm turning around and giving that right back to you as well. So the spoken word has power. Antwynette, do you want to add anything about the words, speaking in words? Because I'm just rattling on. I can, me, I can talk.
No, hey, well, you weren't here last week, so I was going to let you do a lot of talking anyway. Oh, but yeah, I agree. Like I said earlier, it was kind of a segue into this. The even words that other people say to you, if you take on that belief that somebody says that, then that can definitely affect the way you view yourself, for the world around you, or your reality simply by adapting, something that somebody said that could be true or even untrue. We see that a lot with people that have issues with their body image. Even somebody who is anorexic or skinny would think they're fat, or
Yeah.
could. So yeah, words definitely hold a lot of meaning. And like Sherry said, it's important to be cognizant of what words are we using to describe ourselves, to describe the world we're in, our experiences, the labels that we put on things. All of those matter to our experience in life. So.
Yep. Yep. And they will ring, certain words will ring true to you and will have special meaning to you all of the days of your life, positive and negative. When I was much younger in the business world, I was a manager, and I was super motivated, and I worked really hard, got promotions and stuff, and but I was so nervous, and I was young and just getting started at it. And I read a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Laura Jeffries. I think it's probably, 30 years old or 35 years old. Anyway, but it really helped me. And I would be saying those words in my head when I would be doing things that were new and for the very first time ever, or because I was a trainer, I would teach in front of 30 managers. We taught managers. We had a training center. And the first class we ever did, I had to do a training for the CEO, the president, all the VPs. It was scary, but I was saying it the whole time. Feel the fear and do it anyway. And did all the little things they taught me to do. And I got through it. But I say that just to say, I use those words today, 30 something years later. Anytime anything feels, I'm a little nervous about it, or I'm a little, apprehensive, I just say it. And I actually use it part of my breath work. At the end of my inhale, I say, feel the fear. And then I exhale and I say, do it anyway. So this is it's just an exercise I do for me. So words have power, and they can truly cast a spell. They do for me. It's gotten me through so many years of my professional life. So.
I agree. I love that, Sherry. I had one like that too, but I like that yours is feel the fear and do it anyway. Mine was, I will not be afraid, was just my mantra, because most negative emotions are fear based. So if I am having that kind of experience, my mantra is, my name is, and I say my name, and I will not be afraid. And it kind of empowers me.
Yes. Yes. Because words have power. Those are
Love
your magic words, you can use whatever ones actually speak to you. I get a lot of really great stuff from like Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul, or Tony Robbins. Sometimes I'll adopt some of the things that they have said, and they've gotten me through very tough times. Because when you're down and depressed, or life is tough, and stuff happens, you need something to keep pushing through and to keep going and putting one foot in front of the other. So you have to, otherwise you start running the words in your head like, well, I don't know, I can't do it. You have to be conscious of what you're saying to yourself. You're programming yourself. Oh, I wouldn't be able to do that. I'm not good enough, or whatever. If you say it, you say it into existence. So if you want it to not be true, you say, I can do this. I can. And then you fail the first time, you just get back up and do it again. But I have to credit my mom. She always, from the time I was just a kid, it was always, it's like, you're all right. Get back up. Brush yourself off. Just do it again. You got this. And it worked.
Well, I think what makes it so strong also is the resonance of the words. Like, even when we're with the client and we're hearing their words and we're building that session for them, the same is true for me. Like, it's the resonance of those words to me, like yours to you, that make them so powerful. It's how much they resonate with me, how much I believe those words is the intensity that they have, the effect they have on me.
Yes.
And the same is true for negative and positive.
It is. One of the in my session, usually in my someone's very first session with me, and you know this because I shared this with you and Ben. I do it to most everyone because we all have a little bit of, especially after the couple years of lockdown and all the craziness in the world. But I have a little portion in your session where I just kind of stop, and it's ego supporting, it's self-supporting, it's just a little bit of strengthening about how, you are made wonderfully and can do anything you set your mind to. And that as long as you keep those words positive, and anytime any negative thought just crosses your mind, it slips right out and falls away and is replaced with whatever your positive, I use their positive words, and is replaced with, and I had someone tell me just about 2 weeks ago, they said, I tried to go there and I literally saw it slip away like on a slip and slide right out of my existence. I was like, yes. So the words, it works, but it's whatever you resonate with, like Antwynette said. You gotta, with the client, you gotta just find out what would resonate with them in the beginning of the session when we were just talking and learning about each other. So, what else? Let's see. There was something I wanted to say about. Oh, I found a website. Like words and marketing, just so people will be aware of how easily it is just to be, you just captivated by the words. And there's so many things that are done, some right out in the open that we know, we hear, people realize it, know it, and some very, very subtly. And actually some stuff is a little nefarious. I remember being young, and I think back in college, and they had advertised, it was some type of whiskey, and it had the highball glass and the ice cubes, and it was whiskey, so it was a brown whiskey. Anyway, in the photograph, the way the ice was in the drink, it kind of formed, if you saw it, the word sex. And in their advertisement, it was directed at men. It was in like a Gentleman's Quarterly or some kind of whatever. It was like how their world was going to be all, great and wonderful if they were to drink this kind of whiskey, whatever kind that it was. And I remember it coming out, and it was so shocking. Well, heck, that was like in the late 60s or 70s from the advertisement. And I didn't hear about it till 10, 15 years later. So can you imagine? They weren't quite as subtle as they probably should have been, but can you imagine what they're doing today? But it's the word, and their subconscious would pick up on that, and that would make them think that if they drank this whiskey, they're going to have a good time. So I was doing some research earlier today, some of the different companies that do this stuff, how it invokes feelings, thoughts, things that will trigger you, things that trigger a response in you. Coca-Cola, for example. I almost can't hear the name and not think of their song at Christmas time. They want to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I won't sing it. I'll spare you that. But, they inspire, their music is nostalgic and happy. They use visuals. They do all kinds of family and related and fun and happy, so that they're not selling Coke. They're selling a happy thing. And so when people they are subconsciously buying it because they're buying into all of that other stuff, which is what they're symbolizing, all the joy and shared moments. Mercedes-Benz, their luxury car, all their advertising is on like elegance and sophistication and success. And so their commercials are about that, not about the car, not the Mercedes, not how fast it goes or any of that stuff. But that's all it is part of hypnosis, because they're evoking emotion in you. And and it's emotion that and are familiar with, but in other places in your life. And it's like linking them together. So you can link together two unrelated things, but they can if you can bring up the same emotion, then they can get you to, like, you think of a family reunion or having been somewhere, you might want to get Coke for the next one because, it's family. So that's all hypnosis, though. Nike, just do it, right? You're going to be a very great athlete. You're going to be stronger and faster. And then Apple, most innovative, generally, they got the new thing. Some people can't hardly stand it as soon as they get it because they know that it's they have such a devoted customer base that loves their products. I have an iPhone myself, but they use all their advertising to just tap into the aspirations and emotions of their client base. And I wanted to, in the movies, I could go on for days, but they had the one, I just thought it was pretty interesting because they target kids, and I don't like this. Well, one of them, McDonald's, targets kids, and since McDonald's came around, now we have this rampant childhood obesity. But with kids, they see the Happy Meal and it comes with a toy and all of this bad food, so that they equate, the Happy Meal. Happy, they're going to be happy. They're going to get a free toy and they're going to eat this food. So some of these advertisings and the anchoring, the things that they connect them with, are not good things. But the one I was going to talk about was Deadpool. If you're familiar with that action hero, I kind of gave up on TV and movies back several years ago, but I remember this. But they were specifically targeting like 14-year-old boys. And I sent you guys a graphic of it. And it was like, wait till they get a load of me. And it's him from like the waist down, and he's got a gun. And what was the other thing? Oh, sit on this. So you knew it was going to just get like these 14-year-old boys with the hormones racing, all excited. And of course they're going to the movie, And of course they want all of the paraphernalia they sell to go with the movies. So that's all hypnosis, and it's all around us. You want to add anything into any of that, Antwynette?
Yeah, like especially the Coca-Cola stuff, which I didn't know this, but my kids are in school, and I can't remember. It was years ago. I was doing a deep dive into like cafeteria foods and all of that. But it was when I was going through my health issues, and I was looking into like all this issues we got with our food. But anyways, Coca-Cola sponsors a lot of for free. They send like chairs to the schools for kids to sit on, and they're free, but they have their logo on them. And then they would send like free drink machines and stuff like that to the schools with their logo. I mean, it was all branding, but it's like, we don't even see that kind of stuff, but it happens behind the scenes. But it's like donations to the school to support kids, but then everything has their logo and their branding, and they're giving it to them and reinforcing it. So yeah, I definitely saw a lot with that. It's just interesting.
I mean, they're if they can get them real when they're young, they're going to do that and have that their whole life. I mean, there's people now they drink only Dr. Pepper or only Coke, Diet Coke.
Right, brand loyalty for sure.
And they've been drinking it their whole life.
Yep, they probably sat in a Coca-Cola chair in their class in kindergarten, and now they can't get enough of it.
Exactly. I have had a couple of people that came to me because they wanted to quit their addiction of, can I say a name of a particular company? Mountain Dew. I mean, it was like but these were grown adults, like in their 40s. And over the years, keeping drinking it and all the sugar and stuff, and then they'd switch to the zero one or but they were feeling, after a while, all that stuff on your body is not good for you. And people get to where they drink it to excess. I had one client that was drinking about 12 Diet Cokes a day, and every day, and that's a lot. 144 ounces. Anyway, so
another one I was going to say is like pharmaceutical companies. I also, when I was going through my awareness of my health issues, like in European countries, they can't do ads for medicine. You go to the doctor, and your consultation with your doctor depends on what medicine he feels like meets your health needs. Right. But only in the United States do we have open advertisement of specific medication. And used to, if you think back years ago, like the anxiety medicine used to show people suffering, and with they would put their hands on their head and they'd be, suffering through anxiety. But now all of the commercials are like happy couple walking through the park, They want you to see the positive outcome of taking their medicine, as they're focusing. And then some of them even have like another third animated thing that focuses on bold letters that they want you to like draw your attention to. So I definitely see a lot of techniques in the medication commercials. And then only at the end do they tell you that you're going to lose an arm or a body part or organ or something extreme.
Usually the disclosure at the end is as long as the commercial itself. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Well, I'm a little bit confused because I know what subliminal messaging is, and I thought that that was different from hypnosis, but a lot of what you're saying seems to be about subliminal messaging.
Yes. But
So
it's
are
all,
they the same thing or are they different?
yes,
Because
because
it seems like there's big differences to me.
the subliminal, what is subliminal talking to? Your subconscious. Right? So
Yes.
you're not even aware of it. So yeah, it's the same thing. Because when I'm talking to you in hypnosis, I am talking to your subconscious. We're talking to the same.
But to me, the difference would be that in subliminal messaging, it's operating below the level of your conscious awareness, but hypnosis involves a conscious decision to enter the trance-like state.
Yes. So subliminal messaging is unethical.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I
it's
just want to
all the
clear that up because I
time.
want people to know that we are talking about a slightly different. It's like a different shade of gray,
Oh
but
yeah,
but the
yeah.
ethical hypnosis is you enter into that consciously. It's not something that people are doing.
And you come to it with an intention, usually to improve something, make something better, something easier in your life. You're trying to make a transition or a change or anyway.
But
Yes.
we also want to bring awareness to the fact that these subliminal messaging can lead to the adaptation of bad behaviors and unhealthy decisions, especially when you get that reinforcement over time and over time. You keep hearing the same commercials over and over again, especially if you're focused on something else and that's playing like in the background. So if you're really focused on something, just like in hypnosis, you're focused on this thing that you're doing, but in the background, those subliminal messages are coming in, and you get that repeatedly over a period of time. You could adapt unconsciously behaviors that you never even signed up for.
Mm-hmm. And during hypnosis, like we use metaphor all the time, and that's kind of subliminal messaging, but it helps the subconscious to attach a meaning to. I'm sorry if y'all can hear that. The lawnmower guy is here, and he's right out my window.
Boris Bergman is in the house and says hi, hello to all of us. I don't know if that's a
Hey,
friend.
Boris. How are you?
Hi there.
Welcome. Welcome to our weird world.
I know, right? But yeah, ever since, like, I don't know, going through hypnosis really just opened my eyes up to, I just need to make sure I'm doing my due diligence and I'm not listening to commercials that could influence me, especially without my permission and consent. So I don't listen to any more commercials. I'm going to mute my TV or I'm going to decrease the volume on my phone. I used to fall asleep listening to YouTube, and I know they have like those little prompts in the middle sometimes of videos that they throw in. I don't participate in that anymore. I just feel like I need to protect myself from things that I don't want coming into my awareness.
Yes, you keep it out of your mind. It's the, garbage in, garbage out. If you put it in there, then it's going to come out in some other negative way. And when we were talking, I'm going to back up for just a second because we were talking about like the pharmaceutical companies, because one of them recently just irked the heck out of me. And I don't watch that much TV, but I do see occasionally some commercials because we'll have TV on sometimes. But anyway, the one I'm seeing is it, I may say the wrong drug, but it's one of the new drugs, Giardia, I think is the one, but it's a weight loss thing, like a shot or something. And is it right for you? And they have some commercials that are really compelling. Like it shows the lady at the office and she's singing and dancing through the office, but she's interacting with other coworkers and stuff. And anyway, but she's dancing. And then in the later versions of the commercial, they're showing her losing weight on this. And if it really does work, it would be great. However, I've had so many people come into my office. They're wanting to lose weight and adopt a healthy lifestyle or a healthy way of eating. And they tried it. And I haven't found anybody. I'm sure it's helping some people, but I haven't had anybody. And of course, they're not going to come see me if it did work. They don't need me. But I'm seeing an awful lot of people that have tried some of those new medications. And then I read about that one of them, I can't think of the name of it. And I'm sorry, I can't think of the name of it. But they ended up pulling it off the market because, it wasn't tested well enough. And it wasn't as safe as they thought it was. The FDA has recalled 1,279 drugs per year since 2012. And
there she is.
yeah, that's 1,279 they've pulled off the market. So when you take a new drug, it's wonderful if it's going to really do what it needs to do. But I think it's almost like they're, just throwing it up on the wall and whatever sticks. But some things have some very, what is it? The third leading cause of death in the United States is pharmaceutical related. So just because, I don't want to get off on a whole rabbit hole tangent, but just because the commercial says it's going to do stuff, sometimes people don't believe anything unless they saw it on TV. And I know back when I was younger, there was a song, I don't know if it was Creedence Clearwater or one of the guys from that band, and it says, yeah, well, it's true. I saw it on TV, and that's so it's been around a long time since there was TV. Actually, it started before TV. It was radio. And before radio, it was just pamphlets and flyers and things like that. If you read Mein Kampf, Hitler, he was doing the same thing even way back then. Again, it's a part of hypnosis. It's getting groupthink or getting people to focus in on what you're wanting them to focus on and see things your way, or whatever way it is you're trying to promote. So
Subliminal messaging.
Yes. And so it's a negative side of hypnosis, but that's in marketing. If you go to see a hypnotherapist, they're not doing that.
You can also use color theory in subliminal messaging too, can't you? Can you use that in hypnosis?
Colors? Like, yeah, absolutely you can. Especially when if the client uses colors, it has to mean something to the client. But, my little breath exercise that I do for everyone, where you breathe, and I usually send you just a little meme, and it has the picture of it, and it's just a big thing of green grass, a blue sky, and white puffy clouds. Well, part of my induction, which is the beginning of hypnosis, where we want you to just be relaxed and get focused and just start following what we're saying, I say you're standing on the green grass, and you're looking at the blue sky, and you're breathing fresh air, and I'm getting you to breathe properly, deeply, because so many of us shallow breathe or hyperventilate because we're stressed. So I'm getting people to breathe, but I use those colors, blue and green, and I speak the words, and then I send you the meme, and then I use it again when I'm talking a little bit later. I bring up the blue and the green. So people will mention it afterwards. So you walk outside on a beautiful day and you're seeing green grass and a blue sky, you're just going to take in a deep breath and keep going. So that's kind of subliminal, but it's metaphor. What is a blue sky? Blue skies are a metaphor for a great day. A way to describe a beautiful day. That things are right in the world. So.
Yeah, and I think different categories of I read this somewhere at some point where different categories of like jobs use different colors. Like the medical field uses a lot of blue, and their scrubs are mostly blue, and you associate that. A lot of like lawnmower services or earth-based, companies will use green in their logo. Even like John Deere, I was thinking they're green associated with the tractors and stuff. So yeah, it is definitely a thing. I think a lot of intuition is purple based, psychic mediumship, intuition stuff.
It is.
Yep, I was a banker. We wore navy blue suits most of the time, generally, and white shirts. And
always try and wear navy on job interviews.
See, yep.
Yeah.
they've had prison cells for people that have, anger issues, and they paint them pale pink. That's actually been done in people that are in confinement, like solitary confinement. They have pale pink rooms because emotionally it softens you, apparently. So yes, color. I mean, color is used in a lot of ways. But at the end of the day, it's what color means to the client. So
It's interesting how everything's kind of woven together, from working with candle magic or stones. You pick the colors that represent certain things to you.
the chakras, the colors of the
Mhm.
chakras. I use that in chakra balancing, and I do the chakra cards for people that are after we've done a session, and I'll ask them where were they feeling, the session, where was it resonating after I described the different energy areas on the body, and those little chakra cards I have, I've given them to both of y'all. I know Nettie's got a whole deck of them by now, but
I do. I've always put them in random places, and I find them later. It's like little messages and surprises. I love them.
yay. Yeah, because the last couple sentences are like an affirmation. And sometimes if you just got a quick second, just read the last few lines, and you're like, or the last little area, it's kind of sectioned off. Yes, gets right to the heart of it. So I love those cards. That's the coolest thing. Color is powerful, and it means different things to different people, which is. But yes, it all matters. It all.
I love talking with you about this because it has opened up my mind a lot about, like, I guess I just thought hypnosis was, squawk like a chicken, a magician's trick, and it's really so much deeper. It ties in with, your mindful manifestations and your affirmations and your meditations. And now we're getting into, there's a darker side to it as well, with the subliminal stuff that is, happening all the time. So hypnosis is much larger and much more a part of our everyday life than I think anybody really relieves. So
Yep.
that's very interesting.
Yep. Absolutely, it is. And you mentioned like stage hypnosis, quack like a duck, walk like a chicken stuff.
Yeah.
But and that is actually part of we have to learn how to do that.
And I actually do love that. I'm a fan of stage hypnosis. I think it's cool. It's fun as long as you know what you're getting into. It's fun.
Yes, and it is hypnosis, but again, it's not the same as like what we're doing on a daily basis with clients. Really, that's more for entertainment. And let me just tell you, I mean, if you've ever been to a place where you had a stage hypnotist, they got up there and they talked to you. You got to have that part anyway, getting the rapport. But they're scouting out, and they're listening to people. They're asking questions and getting feedback, and they are picking their marks. And anybody can be hypnotized if they choose to be. And when people will say, "Oh, I can't be hypnotized," I always just say, "You're right, because you've chosen not to be. It's up to you." But anybody can be. I don't think I've ever had anyone. Some people don't go as deep, or they're not having the best day, but given all the right circumstances, they can. But anyway, they're watching, and there's all kinds of things that the stage hypnotists will do to try to find their marks and get them ready while the entertainment part of the session is the entertainment, the show is going. Oh. Now, sometimes you'll see them yawn. Oh. And anybody in the audience that would have yawned, they'd be picked because they're suggestible. So those people, so they're picking out 6 people like they're going to put on stage. And then when they get to the part where they're ready to do the stage part of it, they'll ask for volunteers. Hey, and their 6, they know already they're gonna volunteer. They've already picked out their 6. They act like they're choosing volunteers, but they're not. They've been selected. And then those folks end up, even the craziest stuff they may do on stage. When you think about it, you have a big old audience full of people. There's a bunch of clowns. There's a bunch of people that are fun or funny, that are the most likely to stand on a tabletop and have the lampshade on their head kind of thing. they're the ones that get picked, and which is why they're part of it. They're fun, they're willing, and they were suggestible. So it's real, but it's part of it's a setup.
Well, as we are rolling up on 7 p.m., does anybody have a question for Shari or for Nettie? Just give them a minute to type. We'll see.
Yeah. Now, I was going to say one thing that Sherry, I just wanted to highlight that you said was even when you're in the audience and the stage hypnotist is, marking people, everybody is a willing participant who showed up. And then once they volunteer, they're a willing participant as well.
Yes,
So,
they are.
Yeah.
They came to the event, that made them willing, and then they volunteered. They don't pick on people that don't volunteer, but they already know who's going to volunteer. And one of the things we have to do in hypnosis is we have to ask you, are you ready to be hypnotized?
And you'll see that line a lot on videos of stage hypnotists asking that specific question. Are you ready to be hypnotized? So.
Ready to be hypnotized. And I don't know, for some reason, people sometimes think they're just going to be like a zombie. Yes, I'll do whatever you tell me, but it's not.
Right.
It doesn't work like that.
That's how they portray it in the movies.
Right.
So.
Well, I don't have any questions for y'all tonight, so I guess everyone's going to save them for next week when Ben's back. So,
Okay.
in the meantime, Mike Lewis is asking, can you hypnotize a blind person?
Yeah, I have had a blind person.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, how did you do that, Sherry? Can you tell a little bit about your strategy?
Well, it's not visual, right? So we know that whether we're visual or kinesthetic or auditory. So what would you guess? If people that are blind have most incredible hearing, and they can hear nuances that the rest of us don't even, know exist. So you are working with them from that level. Plus, they're going to still have the same kinds of emotions, thoughts and feelings. They're just missing the visual part. And just like when I do those the small group sessions, I always explain to everybody, it's not everybody's visual. My teacher is not visual, and he's had a few visual, but man, he has amazing. He is claircognizant, clear knowing. He just knows things like from experience. It's like when he sees it or he imagines it as it has already been done. So he doesn't have to see it. So, but yeah, you can hypnotize someone that's blind.
All right, ladies. Well, it looks like we're getting up on the top of the hour. So do y'all want to take a minute and let everybody know how they can get in touch with you and where they might find you online?
Well, sure, I will. Resolution Hypnotherapy. I have a website. It's not a super fancy one. There's a place in there you can ask a question. It does have my phone number, and I actually just prefer if you have a question or you want to make an appointment, just to text me. So you can. Should I give them my phone number here, or is it listed?
No, just send them to the website.
Okay, yeah, Resolution Hypnotherapy, and I am teaching hypnosis again this year. I haven't started. I don't have a set date yet, and I'm looking for just probably 4 students. I did 2 the first time, and luckily they were Nettie and Ben, and so they helped me. And we had a brand new training program that I was like one of the guinea pig teachers of this new program. So it was a lot. But we're ready and to do it again. It took Antwynette, and this will be in person. Next year, I am going to do one online, but I've got to think through some other. It'll have to just all be recorded, I guess. But anyway, with the in person, I don't know. I just liked it. I guess Nettie can speak to it better, but I was trained in person, and I just like it. For now, that's what I want to do. So I would like to do 4 in this next class, and it'll be coming up in the fall, and then next year I'll worry about doing just some distance stuff, but one thing at a time. So If
Awesome.
anyone's
Well, I
interested,
see here that Boris Bergman is saying that we need to watch The Minds of Men by Aaron and Melissa Dykes. So we will have to check that out. It's a must-watch documentary. So, Nettie, where can we find you?
So yeah, I'm working right now out of Jackson. So that's JAXZEN, and that's in Jackson, Mississippi. And you can book on the website, or um, I guess you could email me directly too. Should I save my email here, or it'll be in the notes?
We'll put it in the notes.
Okay.
If someone wants to get in touch with you, we will definitely put it on the website. So, and I'll do that.
Okay.
I think I've got resolution linked on the website, but I will definitely put your contact stuff up there as well.
well, and also,
Yeah.
Okay.
oh, I'm sorry.
And
Go ahead.
well, I was gonna say you can find me and Ben at Jackson. I know Ben's not here, but he works out of Jackson as well. So both of us have the
Okay.
pleasure of working there.
And I will add that to the website, guys. And I do have a link to Resolution Hypnotherapy and Holistic Health and Healing, where Shari is co-owner.
Yep, I wanted to say that. I can't believe I didn't even say holistic health and healing. Yeah, yes, that's where I work. Yeah, that's where I work every day.
She parts her hat.
Yes. And
all right. Well, that's going to do it for this week. We're going to be back next week, and we're going to be talking about the history of hypnosis, and that should be pretty interesting. And that's going to be Sunday, July 21st at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, you can always reach out to Net or Shari through our website, and we will put you in touch with them. So until next time, kids, stay weird. We'll be talking to you soon.
Stay weird.
That's going to do it for this week's show. For notifications each time the Weird Realities Network goes live, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. You can expect fresh weirdness 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a week. But before we depart, let me give a special shout out to our incredible patrons, Mike Lewis, Landis Aldana, and Alan Lassiter. We couldn't keep the lights on here at Weird without you. And a very special thanks to our partners that keep Weird Reality spinning. It's you guys who make our weird world go round. And if you're interested in supporting our endeavors, consider joining the Cabal of Weird over at Patreon. And keeping you entertained and bringing you new content is our goal with every cent that you donate. And if you are interested in partnering or sponsoring, be sure to send us an email at weirdrealities@gmail.com. We are always interested in making new friends and creating a new tapestry of strangeness with you. So, until next week, kids, stay weird, you beautiful weirdos.